Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you here today with an article from Outkick dated October 18th. It says updated on October 19th. And of course, we're going to talk about the thing that's been in the news a lot lately. And you're seeing this as you can probably tell already, a few days after the fact. So this is legacy media becomes Hamas's most useful ally during hospital bombing. So at the time that I'm recording this, it is the Saturday, it is the 21st. Of course, a few days ago, there was that story that went viral pretty quick that Israel had bombed a hospital and killed 500 people. Turns out that whole damn thing was a lie, and our media is to blame. So let's go ahead and see what Bobby Burak, the author of the article, has to say. It says legacy media outlets on Tuesday, that would have been what was that, the 17th? Yes, the 17th, reported that Israel was responsible for an explosion at a hospital in the Gaza Strip. The AP, New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, and the Wall Street Journal added that around 500 people died in the explosion, and their source was Hamas. And one of the things that, except for the Wall Street Journal, all the rest of these have in common is the fact that they're all extremely left wing. And by the way, I don't know if this article is going to go into it or not. The AP used to actually share an office with Hamas in the Gaza Strip. Go look that up. That was an actual thing that happened. So here's an embedded tweet from the Israel War Room that says, "We see you stealth editing the headlines that cover your lies, New York Times. Maybe don't take terrorists at their word next time." Yeah, it's probably a pretty good lesson for any journalists out there is don't believe terrorists. So you can see the tweets here. The first one says Israel strike kills hundreds in hospital, Palestinians say. The second one says at least 500 dead in strike on Gaza hospital, Palestinians say. And the third one says at least 500 dead in blast at Gaza hospital, Palestinians say. Not too bad. They still didn't get it right after 3 tries. Good job, New York Times. So we go on with the article. It says the U.S. parroted the information of a terrorist organization and presented it as fact. Yet Wednesday, U.S. intelligence claimed that the belief that it was the Palestinians who fired the missile, be it Hamas or Islamic Jihad, not Israel, as reported by the press. Additionally, the IDF and Israeli government also released a video that seemingly exonerates Israel's role in the airstrike. Yeah, the video might have actually been like, oh, and I think it's actually what I was just about to say here in this next sentence says, the IDF then released a recording in which members of Hamas appear to discuss a failed rocket strike that fell short and hit the hospital. And that's exactly what I was about to say. So we have the actual terrorists themselves saying, oh, it was one of ours and not Israel. So it says there is also no evidence to support Hamas's claim that hundreds of people died in the explosion, other than that being what Hamas purports. And yet, the three most prestigious newspapers in the country printed the death toll anyway. And Clay Travis here, again, he's the founder of the Outkick site, says the front pages of the Washington Post, New York Times, and Wall Street Journal all uncritically spread Hamas propaganda that hundreds died in a hospital explosion. Our media is fundamentally broken. And again, don't believe terrorists. So CNN anchor Jake Tapper pushed back on the notion Hamas may have deceived credulous media. We have reports of hundreds killed, and there's no reason to doubt that. Tapper told viewers Tuesday, yes, because let's just keep believing, the terrorists. And like, why would we believe anything on CNN at this point? Not like I just uncritically is going, yep, the terrorists told us this is true, so it absolutely is. Says, of course, there's reason to doubt that. The information came from inhumane savages who slaughtered children. Later, CNN repeatedly attributed the information to the government in Gaza, an apparent euphemism for Hamas terrorists, which is what it is because Hamas runs the Gaza Strip. As the network then turned to a deleted post from a social media influencer as a source, and this one here says, the embedded tweet says, CNN Sarah Sidner is still pushing the debunked lie from Hamas that Israel blew up a hospital with an airstrike last night. The evidence is a post from an influencer that's now deleted. I think I saw that too. Yeah, okay, I know what she's talking about now. This Israeli PM spokeswoman Tal Heinrich tells her off. Yeah, it's nice to see that on these channels, at least, you're seeing a lot of like people on the Israeli side coming back and not just saying like, just hey, that didn't happen, but they're going off on these news people being like, what the hell is your problem? Go look up. There's a few videos of the former Israeli prime minister. His name's Naftali Bennett, that he's had a few spats with, I think, like the BBC, just basically telling them off to the point where the anchors are like visibly distressed about what he's saying. It's pretty good. As information during a war is inherently fluid, the press is going to make mistakes, and we won't be naive and say otherwise. However, the coverage of the hospital explosion doesn't demonstrate a media that committed a minor mistake. The framing on Tuesday underscores how an industry rushed all too eagerly to put the onus on Israel. As the outlets we are told to trust propagated information based on one source, a source that just committed the largest one day slaughter of Jews since the Holocaust. It appears as if the media wanted Israel to be responsible. I do not disagree with that sentence at all. I think that's exactly what they wanted. It's as if the industry was waiting to deflect the blame onto the Jews. It says that does not describe a mistake, that describes malpractice. It says we warned readers on the day of the musical festival massacre on October 7th to exercise proper skepticism regarding any reporting on the war. It says from the start, the media has botched the coverage. At first, journalists would not even call Hamas terrorists. They refer to them as gunmen and militants, and some still won't. Yeah, and then that was more from like the BBC. I saw that, and even the New York Times, and it's like, no, they're terrorist guys. Like you can call them that. There's like they're trust me, they're probably not going to really be offended if you call them that. There's hardly anywhere did journalists ask the questions that should have been asked. What is the best response for America? What are the risks for America? How did intel fail Israel? And the legacy press is compromised. It has become increasingly reliant on a progressive consumer base as moderates and conservatives have rightfully lost faith. Thereby, journalists walk a fine line to not distribute that base. Corporate journalists share similar audiences with the Squad, the far left wing of the Democrat Party. In fact, Squad members Ilhan Omar and Rashid Tlaib, two obvious anti-Semites, that's 1,000,000% correct, were as quick as the media to blame Israel for the explosion at a hospital in Gaza. And I believe, like, Tlaib's tweet about it is still up. It does have a community note, thank God. And same with Ilhan Omar, but she came out and gave one of those non-apology apologies about it to think like it's going to be shoveled under the rug, but it's not because no one's going to let her forget it. Because again, she's an anti-Semite and should be called out for it. So it says Outkick reached out to the offices of Tlaib and Omar for comment, and we have yet to hear back. And not surprised, says don't expect a response or predictions from the media. As the pandemic demonstrated, the media doesn't hold itself accountable for its shortcomings. The industry simply moves on as if nothing happened. The press moves on to another lie, further validating why trust in society is so low. A Gallup poll found that only 15% of American adults trust formerly prestigious newspapers and just 11% trust the television news. Yeah, I'm not surprised. That's why I don't watch the news. And I've made that known a lot of times. I do not pay attention to the what's on the TV at all when it comes to the news. It's all propaganda. It says all Congress has less only Congress, I'm sorry, has less goodwill with Americans than the media, and that's sad too. Because ultimately the war has exposed the institutions of the United States. The Ivy League have sympathized with terrorists, the neoconservatives are compromised by lobbyists, and progressive left congresswomen are hotly anti-Semitic. This Hamas has turned the corporate media into its most useful ally. Yeah, I fully agree with everything in this article. I mean, it's sad that like the moment something bad happens, everyone rushes to judge, Israel in the situation. And if this was any other country, in my opinion, it wouldn't happen that way. It's because it's Israel that it's happening. So let me know what you think about this in the comments below. What do you think about our media just rushing to judgment based on the words of terrorists? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.